47 minutes past the hour. You're still watching Good Morning Kenya. Welcome back. My name is Mike Migwid. Now we talk about matters financing gap, and this time around we are focusing on identifying the hurdles that consumers face, especially when they are trying to acquire modern technology, given that, you know, for Kenyans, upgrading to these technologies that we are talking about transcends comfort to include matters to do with safety, energy conservation, productivity, and also long-term cost savings, which is why now we are talking about that, forms the basis of our conversation. And in studio, I'm joined by Sam Odhiambo, who is the head of consumer electronics at Samsung East Africa. Karibu sana.
Thank you, Mike. Pleasure.
Karibu sana. And how is your morning coming along?
It's good.
Yes.
Kenyans are busy as always, so a lot of us on the roads, but it's good.
Yeah. You know, let's get into it. Now, you know, according to the Communication Authority of Kenya and even the National Bureau of Statistics, over 53% of Kenyans own a mobile phone. But then again, ownership drops significantly in rural areas. We are talking about only 10%, also only 10% of households have access to a computer. So, and smartphone penetration, you look at it, it's growing. But there remains a key barrier. From your perspective, why is that?
Yeah, it's true. I love the fact that there is that data out there. So it basically communicates the potential that it still exists of many more other people acquiring the technologies that they will definitely wish for. And Kenyans are an aspirational lot, you know. So the barrier, obviously, top of the list is the cost element. Of course, a lot has been done by industry players, including Samsung, where I belong, to bring down this cost significantly over the years. A 55-inch TV, for example, is not the price that it was 5-10 years ago. A smartphone entry type is significantly cheaper than it was 2-3 years back. But still, we have a number of people locked out of this range due to cost, primarily. And even as the industry players try to bring this down, we still appreciate that we have not been able to reach everybody else in the sector. And there's a lot of work going on with partnerships being created to advance credit and financing opportunities to customers like this.
And actually, that brings me to the next question, because I would want to know, like, paint a picture for us. Like, for instance, an average customer.
Correct.
They want to acquire this modern TV, but they cannot afford to pay the premium for it. So let's say there's a TV, 65-inch, as you put it. So why go from wanting to purchase the appliance to actually the point that they own it?
True. So as I've said, you know, from an industry perspective, of course, with the technology getting readily available, the cost of production also comes down. So I will speak for Samsung, for example. You see, when the smart TVs that are currently the in thing started being available not very long ago, they were quite expensive, to say the least, okay? But then as that technology becomes widespread, the cost of producing it becomes more affordable. And by that, what it means then, we are able to extend that cost advantage to the end consumers, okay? So your 65-inch TV that you've referred to, for example, will be in excess of, say, 300,000 Kenya shillings some 5-6 years ago. Now, as we speak, we have options in that category that are as cheap as 60,000-70,000. Okay, that's an advancement. But locally, we still realize that is still a big deal. So what we've done at Samsung, and this currently affects our key categories of mobile phones and TVs, we've partnered with local players, and key among them is Watu Credit, for example. So what we do is you allow a customer an opportunity to do a 30% deposit of what the market price of this item is. Then he takes away the item with him, but then the balance 70% is paid on a relaxed basis, what we are calling EIP, easy installment plan. So we are allowing the customer to set off the 70% gap in the price by basically making daily payments, making weekly payments, making monthly payments over a period of 1 year, but essentially throughout that period, they have access and usage of that product.
You know, the 2021 Finaccess household survey by the Central Bank of Kenya at the time showed financial inclusion having improved to around 80%, but still access to affordable credit was kind of even, uneven, so to speak, especially when you look at the informal sector workers. What does being financially included mean, especially now that we are at a time when everybody wants to own a gadget, a smart, say a smartphone, as you have put, a smart TV. What does being financially included mean?
I would describe it as being able to access credit whether you have a bank account or you don't have a bank account. Okay? So you don't necessarily have to be part of the banking system to be financially included, right? So if you're in the informal sector or you're just doing your startup sort of business, you're just new into formal employment, for example, the requirement to say own a bank account and run it successfully may slightly be off reach for quite a number of people. But then if you are in a position where you're still able to access credit through other means, even without being formally being part of that sort of system, then I consider that as being financially included in more ways than one, and that allows you definitely to access a number of these gadgets.
You know, Kenya, we are not new to innovation. We are known worldwide.
True.
Mobile money transfer and everything else. But beyond traditional bank loans, are there alternatives that Kenyans can utilize? Because we are talking about addressing these hurdles that are preventing them from acquiring modern technology. Are there alternative solutions that can help even household access modern technology at this time and age, given our economic situation?
Yeah, they are. Of course, bank loans have really done a tremendous job in allowing a number of Kenyans and, of course, beyond the borders to acquire items, to acquire property. But then, of course, after the formal banking sector, as we know it, I think the SACCOs have come along as well and filled in those gaps. There are those informal arrangements that Kenyans have, you know, the chamas and the cooperative societies. Those ones also do their part. But I will wish to emphasize the EIP programs that are currently available in the country, what we're calling easy installment plans, okay? Easy installment plans. So these are key, and Samsung being aware that we are an aspirational brand and we have customers out there that will wish to have the best of gadgets and devices out here, we've made partnerships with very key players to allow these easy installment plans accessible to as many households as possible. So for about 4 or 5 years now, Samsung, we partnered with players like Watu Credit to extend credit almost at no risk-free, of course, to the providers. We don't subject you to any credit rating of sort. You just walk in, answer very basic questions, and we're able to extend credit to you. So those options are available in the market. And I think you're able to get the best phone, for example, by simply allowing yourself an opportunity to visit a store where those gadgets are being sold, pick a TV, pick a smartphone, and pay 30% of the price. And then the balance 70%, you have a very comfortable arrangement designed to allow you settle that balance based on the ease that you can afford it. It can be daily, it can be weekly, it can be monthly, or even beyond that. So those options are there. And I think, as you said it, we are a very innovative country, and there is a gradual uptake which is very impressive, not just in urban areas, but even in the rural side where people are able to access these options to take up the devices that they so wish to have. Yeah.
How has the economic pressures contributed to the hurdles that we are talking about, the barriers that we are talking about in as far as acquiring modern technology is concerned, from your perspective?
Yeah, it's true. Of course, over the years, the inflationary pressures have had a big role to play in terms of inhibiting most people's ability to take up the devices. You know, you or myself, you may be interested in probably the best of the range laptop like the one you have here.
Yes.
But because I want that, like today, like tomorrow latest, the disposable income may not really allow me and accord me that opportunity to pick it in the shortest time possible. So that has had its fair share of impact in inhibiting most customers access to some of these devices. And I think with those economic pressures continuously playing out, of course, the government doing their part really to try and manage this and limit the impact to the local mwananchi, they still exist. They still exist. Those economic pressures still exist, and that's for me where the alternative means of accessing credit really come in. Yes. And for me, that is where the easy installment plans are really playing a key role.
Indeed.
Yes.
There's a UNDP report, data that shows that data costs can consume up to 14% for rural household expenditure.
Yeah.
So when you add device financing,
yes,
aspect like device financing, add electricity bills.
Correct.
Can we say could we be underestimating the total cost of being digital, quote unquote, for a low-income family?
Yeah, it's a fair concern. I wouldn't take that away. There's a fair concern about unseen cost in acquiring a device, for example, like you rightly put it, the data element. But again, I'm sure in the telco space, there's been quite some work in really bringing those down. Those costs are significantly cheaper today than they were not long ago. The energy cost definitely is an unseen element when acquiring some of these technologies. So that, of course, adds onto the economic pressure that we are referring to for the low-income households. But I will tell you, within the industry under Samsung, I think there is a whole lot of work that has gone on in the past 10 years to make our devices and our gadgets more energy efficient. The target is to get to up to 30% energy efficiency levels for most devices by 2030. And I will wish to report that Samsung got to 31%. Most of our gadgets were that efficient by 2024. So there is a whole lot of work going on to also minimize the impact of these unseen costs that low income households will tend to experience when getting these devices.
You know, if, for instance, 10% of households have computer access.
Correct.
And, you know, right now we are living in a technological advancement age, and education plays a role, is affected by technology.
Correct.
So if we're talking about this, how does this affect students, especially in rural areas who are competing for the same university and job opportunities, especially for those within the urban setting, especially in a setting like Nairobi? Yes.
Yeah, unfortunately, those disparities definitely exist. Those disparities exist not just at the college level. I think right from primary level, you know, we have the CB, for example, curriculum. Sometimes you get yourself wondering, is this level of homework probably possible in that rural setup out far off of the cities, of the towns? But then it's a work in progress, I would say. It's a work in progress in many forms. It's a work in progress in getting electricity penetration to the last home I think not long ago, or probably now still running, I've heard of the rural electrification program.
Yes.
That plays a key role in creating some balance of sorts. Data, I know the telcos have also done pretty well in ensuring that not just access to connectivity by way of transmitters and all that, but then by way of data is also happening. And then now from the industry perspective, where then these gadgets also need to be made available, there is a whole lot of work that I think everybody is putting in to ensure that there is that fairness of sorts. Of course, we cannot bridge that gap overnight, but it's narrowing with time. So probably in just a matter of few years down the road, I'm sure there will be some level of equality that allows the urban student and the rural student to sort of fairly compete in one way or the other.
I ask that because I'm intrigued, because have we become complacent, or in this way, have we become comfortable with the development model where technology access pegs on one's ability to service debt instead of what I would call public policy support?
There's a thin line there, you know. If I happen to be in one of those remote areas, but I'm aware that if I get this particular gadget, then it will enhance my opportunity to be competitive in one way or the other, I'll go beyond my normal scale of spend to try and acquire that gadget. Okay. Unfortunately, that may have to drag me into an asset financing model to be able to get that. Okay. I'm not sure how to tie that down with public policy in essence, because then the public policy probably can only create an environment that allows this access to happen up to some point.
And that falls on government now?
That, in my view, falls on the government side. So what probably the government then will do is to ensure that there is openness of sorts, you know, in terms of then the credit facilitation, all right, by the players that are involved in doing this. But I believe the arrangements that currently exist, like the one that Samsung is participating in, is an open book, kind of. We get our end consumers updated from end to end on what to expect, what are the interest rates, what are the timelines, payment, what happens if you don't pay, so that nobody feels unjustifiably, you know, taken advantage of in any way or the other. So the government then, in terms of public policies, just to ensure that there is proper monitoring around this area, so that every person in the chain is adequately cared for. You know, nobody feels like they're being taken advantage of in any way or the other.
Is this really a financing gap, or is just a mismatch of income levels, between income levels and the cost of modern living?
I think I will put it more on the mismatch. The appetite by an average consumer to get the next level of technology is moving at a faster pace than what the financing side of the business can handle. So as a result, then the market has managed to develop within itself alternatives, so that we're able to match that speed, that appetite of an average customer trying to get the next level of technology, you know. So because of that faster pace in movement, then you realize the traditional financing ecosystem is probably not catching up as fast as they need to. But then that's a challenge that I believe the people in that part of the industry then have room to quickly be innovative as well, so that then the public policy, the device financing, and then the faster progress of technology all can merge and basically satisfy every player in the system.
If you're talking about payment plans,
Yes.
Issues of transparency and long-term costs have to come up.
Correct.
So my question to you is, from your perspective, how would you advise a consumer to look out to ensure that the options that they are using are fair and transparent? So, this is in a bid to protect them.
Exactly. Of course, I know from a regulatory perspective that is a very key issue. And my advice to a consumer that walks into any store to pick a device, and in this matter, Samsung devices, I know we partnered with players, as I've said, or to credit that what they need to look out for, because this is an open book. Look out for what is the total cost of ownership. So what will be the end price for this item? That is key. Will give you an idea of how much then do you need to pay towards that final cost on a daily, weekly, or even on a monthly basis. So look out for that. Also look out for the rates that are applicable on a daily, weekly, or a monthly basis. That is critical in ensuring that you are fully prepared. Also, in the event of a default, I think the customer needs to be aware what that then means for the ability to use the product or enjoy ownership of that product. That is key. And the beauty about this, with these installment payment plans, is that everything is laid bare from the start. Even before you walk out with that item, you have a pretty much an idea of what every step of the journey will be until you're able to make that final payment to take full ownership of that item.
Indeed.
Yeah, that's key.
Finally,
yes.
I'll take this as your closing remarks.
Yes.
Looking at the trends, what could make home upgrades even more accessible going into the future now?
The future, of course, is going to be largely dictated by the artificial intelligence. Okay, there's a lot going on in the background within the industry of not just ensuring that these items, these products are easy to use, but also the convergence of one gadget to the next.
Yes.
Okay, so that will have a very critical impact in terms of what a home upgrade will look like going forward, right? How compatible are your gadgets with the rest of the gadgets, for example, at home, right? Right, cutting across, right from CCTV cameras to your televisions, to your handheld devices, to your home appliances, to your air conditioning, all stuff. So that is really how the future looks in terms of home upgrade. And I think at Samsung, what we've developed is what we are calling smart things. So it's a proprietary technology where we are building an ecosystem where all these gadgets can be able to communicate with each other. We are looking at a scenario where if you're here, Mike, from your phone, your fridge at home should be able to share an alert that you're running low on groceries when you're going home in the evening. Kindly pick some and come along with that sort of integration is definitely what is going to impact heavily on the future home upgrades.
And AI is going to play a role in that.
A very key role.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mike.
Talk about this issue of identifying the problems or the hurdles that consumers face when trying to acquire modern technology. Sam Odhiambo is the head of consumer electronics at Samsung East Africa, and this is where this conversation ends. My name is Mike Migwi. Thank you for tuning in.